Okay, guys, we're on to season 5, episode 2, Strangers. Let's jump right in. Smoke is still going. It looks dark still. So there's still some burning. And there he is. Rick Grimes.
You didn't want to be there. That's why I tried to talk to you. Glenn told me you saved his life.
He saved mine.
That's how it works with us, right?
Right?
I was wondering how Rick knew. So Glenn Glenn cannot keep a secret. Oh my gosh. But I remember something someone said about Glenn in the earlier seasons. They said he has no, I think it was Dale said he has no guile. And that is so true. Glenn is as pure as you can get. There's no agenda with him. What you see is what you get, and there's no pretense, and he's just a wholesome, good-hearted fellow.
Get something to eat. Start back at sunup.
Rick chuckled at her fist bump. And there he is, Rick freaking Grimes. Such a badass. And that walk, as Michonne would say, that walk.
Talk to Rick. Some of them know what you did at the prison. Daryl, Maggie, they accepted. You wouldn't be here if we didn't. I'm gonna talk to the rest of them. Tell them to accept it too.
Tyree spoke to Rick, and Rick let it be known that they knew it was Carol. Interesting. Why would you need to talk to anybody else to accept it? They may not know about it. And, well, who else is there? It's just Sasha and the new group. They don't need to know. Michonne usually minds her business. She's very aware. Don't sleep on Michonne. She's alert. She's aware of what's going on. She's very observant. But she minds her business. So that's between Tyrese and Carol. Why does he think he has to speak to them? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's see what Carol says.
I don't have to.
They do. We don't need to tell them about the girls. I don't want to.
Why?
I just need to forget it.
So he's telling her he doesn't want to tell the group about the girls because he wants to forget it. That's not up to him. Something Carol experienced, and if she wants to share it with the group, that's her prerogative. He doesn't want to share it. He doesn't have to share it with anyone. But entreating her to not tell the group about her experience doesn't make any sense. That's overstepping his boundaries. It's not his place. Sasha and Bob. What on earth is Sasha going on about? You know, she's discussing something to do with real life and not the show. I know, because that's what happens on sets. Like sometimes when they're filming, the actors can just be talking about whatever, because as soon as they say cut, people start yapping about real life events and having a discussion. So Nico and the actor that played Bob were just having a discussion, nothing to do with in the woods of Georgia trying to survive this apocalyptic world. When they say action, conversation might be too juicy. They want to continue.
I got it.
She doesn't have her sword. You can see it's a reflex. She was like, uh-oh.
Right there is why we're waiting for our moment.
Yeah, fair enough.
I owe you everything.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, Tyrese, he was at the prison.
You got back there.
It's in one of their storerooms.
I saw them kill him. That kid. I still don't know about what you did. But I know you doing some things I didn't. I sent you away to this.
You said I could survive. You were right.
I sent you away to this, and now we're joining you. Will he have us? Thank you.
Rick already thanked her. He owes her everything and he sent her away to this. Now, will she have them? That makes no sense. All this time when Rick was fighting to keep the group alive. This is why these writers are full of it. Why is it Carol contributing the way everyone in the group has contributed? Why is it her contribution is the contribution that makes everyone else owe her? Why doesn't she owe them for all the times they helped and carried her? Rick said he sent her out to this. Remember the time when she was telling Daryl to abandon Rick, go survive on their own? Why didn't she go? He gave her supplies. The woman committed outright murder of people in the group. Helping them at Terminus doesn't negate that. They've decided to accept it and move past it because all of their hands are a bit messy, but it doesn't change the fact that she decided to murder loved ones of people in the group because she decided that's what she wanted to do to protect herself. If Glenn and Maggie were the ones in the room and not David and Karen, what then? That's the decision she decided to make. So Rick is saying, okay, well, she's looking out for herself, so I have to protect my people, my family. He was not wrong. She was not right, and he was not wrong. Yet that is the narrative that the writers have decided to push because they have decided that in trying to redeem her actions, they swing to the opposite extreme to say, regardless of Carol being wrong, Carol is right because we want that narrative. They have to make the other characters who are right grovel to her to make them seem wrong and her right. That's terrible, terrible, terrible writing. Human beings can be right, can be wrong. There can be gray area. Play it out. It's okay for someone to be wrong, accept they're wrong, and the group still forgive and accept. You don't have to force the narrative by distorting the truth and distorting other characters. You don't have to trample on other characters to build up and make righteous a character who has committed an unrighteous act. They're trying to give righteousness to one character by making another character unrighteous. And this is not the only time they're going to do it. This is the writers not having confidence in the audience to be able to navigate complex situations. Life is complex, life is messy, and this was a messy situation. And people get through mess by forgiving, accepting, moving on. Yeah, they may not forget, it may come up again, but then they have to do the work of going through it and overcoming it. That's life. Even though the setting of the show is fantastical, zombies and all of that, the show started out trying to be authentic to human situations, circumstances, and emotions. And the writers, in trying to elevate certain characters, are just trashing the integrity of the characters and the integrity of the show. And they're mangling other characters to do it. Look what they have Rick saying. And all this did because of what the writers started doing with this character. We know there's another character they're gonna do it with. It tainted how I felt about this character. Instead of letting the situation play out truthfully, being true to who she is without negating or cratering other characters' integrity and characterization, the character they're trying to prop would have authentically risen versus them forcing this character to rise on the backs of other characters while being inauthentic. The language around this character is going to change, and the narrative for the other characters when interacting with this character is going to change, all to prop this character, and it's going to eventually destroy this character. You're going to see the audience are going to be force fed a narrative and they're going to cheer along, but in the long term, in the long run, the audience is going to turn. They're not going to deny the truth of what they're seeing versus what they're being fed. Mark my words. It's what I saw coming. I immediately clocked it and just lost interest in the character because the writing stopped being true for that character. It's my opinion and it's their show, but there are tangible indicators that have proven me right. Numbers don't lie. They're just sitting there in the dark. Well, I guess they have to stop.
I don't want to talk about it.
Talk about what? Mika and Lizzie?
I can't. I just need to forget it.
Oh, I think that's what it is. Forget it. Because that's what Tyree said.
There's nothing.
I saw somebody cross their path, so it wasn't nothing.
We surrender.
What are those? Possums?
No tracks, no nothing. So whatever you heard last night is more what I felt. If someone's watching us. It would have been something.
Oh, so he does know it was someone. Because I'm like, I saw someone, but he didn't see them, but he felt it.
Keep close.
No privacy.
Captive audience.
Sasha is the pessimist and Bob is the optimist. They're the cute definition of opposites attracting.
One more. One more.
All this kissing with no toothpaste or mouthwash. First it was Glenn and Maggie, and now these two. Both couples are cute, I have to admit. Young love. I know that cry, I know that voice. It's a precursor to one of the most annoying characters in the history of television. Well, that's not true. Well, to me, I just... let me slow my roll. Speak on it when it happens. Look how they rescued this man. They all came together and rescued this man.
Calm down. You okay?
Gross. Oh my god. I did not need to see that. I wish I remember if that happened because, oh.
I'm Gabriel.
Gabriel, oh my gosh. He has the name of an angel and that's it. He has no resemblance to anything angelic in the terms of his character.
Do you have any weapons on you?
Do I look like I would have any weapons?
We don't get too short and curly is what it looks like.
Thank you, Abraham.
I have no weapons of any kind. The word of God is the only protection I need.
People like that use God's word as a weapon and a shield. And when I say weapon, not a weapon against evil or untruth or lies, but as a weapon to serve themselves. There are a lot of people like that use God's word wrongly. I couldn't come up with a better word, but that's what I meant. Wrong. Wrongly.
I called for help. Help came.
Got Maggie.
Do you have any food? We got some crumbs.
Carl is so kind. Always willing to help and always willing to share. That's one of the best characteristics to have as a person. Kindness, a kind heart.
It's a beautiful child.
His eyes has not let up. He's trying to read it. Well, he's reading him.
Do you have a camp?
No. Do you?
I have a church.
Hold your hands above your head. What have you done? We've all done something.
I'm a sinner. I sin almost every day. But those sins, I confess them to God. Not strangers.
You said you had a church?
Again, Michonne speaks, Rick listens. That was Michonne telling Rick, we're going with him and we're going to his church. And Rick, as usual, concedes to Michonne. They came out of nowhere. Yeah, right.
Were you watching us?
Nowadays, people are just as dangerous as the dead, don't you think?
No. People are worse.
Daryl is right. People are worse than the dead. They are worse than the dead. Wow.
Well, I wasn't watching you. I haven't been beyond the stream near my church more than a few times since it all started. That was the furthest I've gone before today. Maybe I'm leading you into a trap so I can steal all your squirrels.
Well, Daryl won't let you steal his squirrels. I thought they were possum, but I guess they're squirrels. I really didn't find it funny. I was gonna say, yeah, you're not funny, Gabriel, but I laughed. That one was funny. It's a nice church. I like those quaint little country churches. Picturesque, peaceful.
Can we take a look around first? We just want to hold on to our squirrels.
Want to hold on to their squirrels. I like that message that Glenn just read. Said, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. It's interesting the message that each character got. Carol got the thou shalt not kill. She saw that message. The encouragement to Glenn, not growing weary of doing good. And Michonne, I don't even remember noticing this when I watched it eons ago, that the message to her was the salvation of the baby. The baby that she was forced to give up would come back into her life. We saw Moses in the bassinet, and the story was that Pharaoh had ordered all the Hebrew boy babies to be killed. Moses' mother hid him in a basket and sealed it with tar and set it adrift on a Nile River. The baby was found by Pharaoh's daughter. The baby was found and raised as a prince of Egypt. And that baby grew up to be Moses. And as we know, Michonne lost her baby boy, Andre. This in some form of foreshadowing of her getting another chance. Michonne also saw the burning bush, so a miracle is going to happen. And the first thing she saw actually was the burning bush, and the burning bush was a miracle of God. And then after she saw the burning bush, she saw Moses as a baby boy. Again, a foreshadowing of a miracle in her life. What Rick saw was just a bunch of empty cans. Rick is on detective mode, but indicates that, yeah, it looks like Gabriel was here by himself, as he said, living off of canned goods. I didn't see any message for Rick. I went back to look at what Michonne was looking at, because what I was telling you was just from my initial reaction. I also saw the message 40 years of wandering and the baby laying in the Nile in the bassinet. The miracle, the baby, and 40 years of wandering, which indicates a season of being in the wilderness, journeying, searching, looking. In this case, the Hebrews were looking for the promised land. They were wandering in the wilderness, searching, journeying towards a specific goal. You had the miracle, Moses the baby, and then the wilderness journey, being out there, journeying in a dry, arid land, in the desert, in the dry, arid season of life. They were not totally lost because God was there guiding them, but they were without a home, searching searching for a home. That message, do you see the foreshadowing for Michonne? I'm gobsmacked. That's a huge foreshadowing for Michonne and her story. In Christianity, we have this term called the wilderness journey, like the 40 years of wandering that the Hebrews did in the desert. The wilderness journey means that for a Christian, and I often apply it to myself and my life, there are seasons in which you go through a hard season. It could be a loss of health, or it could be financial difficulties, or a loss of a loved one, a loss of a relationship, or loss of a dream, career, something you dreamed of or worked so hard for most of your life and you fail. It doesn't come to fruition. It's a hard time in your life. You're almost at the end of your rope. You've lost so much. There's nothing else to lose. You've hit rock bottom. I usually call that the wilderness journey, a dry season. It's something that, for me, it's usually fruitful because it's in these times when you have been stripped of everything and you have nothing. That's when you understand that God is all you need, because you learn to rely on Him. You're seeking God because you need help, and you hold on to Him, and He comes through. He helps you throughout the wilderness journey. You're just relying on God. He takes you through day to day. It's in those seasons, it's in those times you understand that God is all you need, because He always comes through for you. And when you come out of that season, or you come out of that wilderness journey, wherever your journey takes you, you're stronger for it, because you understand that God is all you need and that He will be there for you. In that wilderness journey, you saw His faithfulness, and you saw how He took care of you and brought you through, just like in the story in the Bible when the Hebrews were in the wilderness and He provided for them, He sustained them, and He guided them. What happened after? Because they rebelled, didn't have faith. What happened is another story. Seeing that foreshadowing for Michonne. Michonne is going to have years of wandering, a wilderness journey. She's going to hit rock bottom, and it comes after a miracle. Wow. Never expected to see that in this episode or go so deep in this episode. Wow. I forgot what this episode was about and thought I would just quickly watch it and probably skip doing a reaction to it. Was I way off?
We found a short bus out back. It don't run, but I bet we could fix that in less than a day or two. You understand what's at stake here, right? Yes, I do.
Now that we can take a
We
breath,
take a breath, we slow down.
we need supplies, no matter what we do next.
That's right. Water, food, ammunition.
There, Abraham. Whatever Michonne says goes with Rick. You're going to see, remember I kept saying you're going to see Rick, Carl, and Michonne as a family unit. This is just one of the instances. Whatever Michonne says is what goes for Rick. And if it goes for Rick, it goes for the group. Rick leads the group and Michonne leads Rick. Let's wind that back. Michonne leads Rick and Rick leads the group. So who is the real leader here?
One way or another, we're doing what Rick does.
Glenn said it.
Tyree should stay here. I'll keep Judith safe.
Ezekiel.
Need anything for her? I'm right here. Yeah, I'm grateful for it.
Tyrese the babysitter. But this was shared by Constant9531. Constant said, I loved Tyrese's empathy and love. However, they did show him being able to kill when necessary. They just went too far with not showing more for him to do what's necessary. I don't see Bob as weak either, just never a confrontational man, even before the fall. Bob is shown to wrestle with addiction, but shows that he is strong in character and he isn't a coward. I do agree with that. He went and did several trips without hesitation, even if one was to get alcohol without the group knowing. He's the store. He spoke up to reason with Red Machete Guy, even if it seemed futile. I'm okay with Tyrese loving children and needing to protect others, especially those most vulnerable, the girls and Judith. That is strength. Constant is right there. I also like that they just didn't do what we've seen all the time. If there's a baby, a woman is the only one seen with it. being a babysitter simply because she's a woman. I feel like it showed a lot of characteristics of black men we don't see in media a lot, which is nurturer, lover, thinker, and leader. I agree with you, Constant, and I appreciate your post very much. It's very thoughtful, very insightful, and you made some great points. Even though I agree with you in what you said, I also think that the show failed a lot of the male black characters. They went overboard with Tyrese, in my opinion, but I already went on about that in the prior episode. But I appreciate so much what you said, and I like the perspective that you've brought to this. Thanks again, Constant. Telling you, I have the best commentators in YouTube, bar none. I don't get as much views as other channels, but the quality of the viewers, the commentators, can't be beat. Iron sharpens iron.
I'll draw you a map. You don't need to. You're coming with us.
I'll draw you a map. I was like, we don't need a map. We have you, Mr. GPS.
I'm no good around those things. You're coming with us. I don't trust this guy. But he could have friends. So I need you to stay alert. You are not safe. No matter how many people are around, or how clear the area looks, no matter what anyone says, no matter what you think,
Safe and sound.
you are not safe. It only takes 1 second, and it's over. Never let your guard down, ever.
I wish Carl had held on to those words. Those words were so right. Can't let your guard down. And Carl lets his guard down a lot.
We're strong enough that we can still help people. And we can handle ourselves if things go wrong.
That's true to Carl, but Rick's words still are valuable. You have to be on guard. You can't. It just takes one moment. It's not about being afraid. It's about being careful. Because they're surrounded by danger. They're in a dangerous world. And Carl lets his guard down a lot around walkers. I think Rick is talking about people here, but if you notice, Carl always lets his guard down. Remember on the highway when he was trying to pull those weapons out of that corpse's lap? And then we've seen other instances him playing with the walker that eventually got Dale, and after the prison fell, went wandering in the neighborhood, walking backwards and being overwhelmed by walkers, and then ended up again being overwhelmed by walkers in that house after Rick told him to be careful. He has a tendency to be careless around walkers because of what he's saying here. He thinks he has a handle on things. He thinks he's strong enough. He knows what he's doing, and that hubris always gets him. If he would listen to his father.
Oh, he's hiding something.
Yeah, Rick knows. Rick is speaking of the living, but and yes, Rick clocked Gabriel. He clocked that he's hiding something. Rick isn't gonna leave it up to chance that he has people where they're going to ambush them, or people waiting for them to leave to ambush the ones that are left at the church. And plus, Rick is on alert because of that person that Daryl heard in the woods, when he and Carol were sitting there by the tree. And as we saw, there was someone there.
We push ourselves to let things go. Then we let some more go, and some more. Pretty soon there's things we can't get back.
So that's what Bob meant. If Rick loses his humanity, because Bob is an optimist and Bob believes that they're going to get back. They're not going to be always like this, in just base survival mode, that they're going to get to somewhere where they can sort of live a semi-normal life. He's optimistic that Abraham will get to Washington and Eugene will find a cure and things will start to come back. But if they let themselves go in the terms of their humanity, they will lose what makes them human beings. And even if they find that place that Bob says is waiting for them, where they can live a semi-normal life, or Eugene is able to find a cure and society comes back, civilization comes back, it won't be of any use to them because they will be gone. They can't function as human beings because they have let their humanity go. As we've seen, there are people that have lost themselves and their humanity so much in this apocalypse, like the governor. He was too far gone. Rick was reaching out to him to end the bloodshed, end the war, so that his group and the governor's group could survive. I don't know how it would work out with them, the governor and Rick and Michonne and all of that, but Rick was trying to stop the bleeding, stop the death. He was trying to save Herschel and Michonne, but to do that, he had to sacrifice winning the war, and he chose that. But the governor couldn't choose that. Governor was too far gone, and that's what Bob is warning Rick of. There's a clip of Rick telling Michonne what Bob told him, and I've seen that clip many times, but it's just now penetrating to me fully what Bob meant. I got it, but I didn't get it, but now I really get it. This episode is amazing in its terms of the deep foreshadowing for these characters and the propulsion of especially Rick and Michonne's journey and growth, where they're going to find themselves. I didn't realize how much seed this episode planted. Wow.
Washington's gonna happen, Rick.
I haven't decided if we're going.
You're gonna find yourself in a place where it's like how it used to be. If you let too much go along the way, that's not gonna work. Because you're gonna be back in the real world.
This is the real world, Bob.
Bob's saying you're going to be back in the real world, and Rick is saying this is the real world. By the way, I'm writing a book with that title. I'll say more on it when I'm close to finishing up the book, but yeah, that's the working title. So I've written a book of a script that I did of a horror story that some of you might be interested in. Let me know if you'd be interested. It's a supernatural horror with a Christian worldview, but it has a beautiful love story in it. And the lead characters are not like Rick and Michonne, but they're like Rick and Michonne. So if any of you are interested, let me know and I'll share more with you, because I'm considering if I should do a video reading of the book or an audio reading of the book on my personal channel. If anyone is interested, let me know. When I'm able to do member tiers on this channel, maybe I'll do that, or have private videos for just members of the channel. We can discuss that another time. There's a lot of stuff that I want to share with you guys, and I'll do that along the way.
This is a nightmare. Nightmares end.
Bob said this is a nightmare, and the nightmare ends. True. True.
We get to start over. All of us with each other.
Right. There it is. Daryl says we get to start over, all of us with each other. That's a choice, and they have made it. It's not, oh, you were right and I was wrong. No, she was wrong and you were right. Because of what happened at Terminus doesn't negate that. But they've made a choice, now that they're reunited with each other, to start over. There it is.
You saved us all by yourself.
And then 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You saved us all by yourself. No, she did not save you guys all by herself. Lord have mercy. Wow. There it is, the writers forcing the narrative, forcing how you are supposed to see the character by telling you something that was not shown, negating what was shown.
We got lucky. We all should be dead.
There's the truth. We got lucky.
Let's start over.
Want to.
Oh, you can.
Man, it must reek in there. Oh.
The silicon puke. This is what it smelled like.
Can't imagine.
Slime this place up good.
Ooh, look at that walker. How are they gonna accomplish this? I wouldn't go down there because, oh my gosh. Where's he going? Rick just watching him.
We have to get Gabriel. What happened? I don't know. But we push down the shells on the ones in front of us. We'll fight to it. I'll grab it.
They wasted so much food right there just because of Gabriel. And he's causing so much problems already. That character really gets on my nerves. That look on his face. There's no way they've gone down into that without there being a chance of one of them getting bitten, because it's just dark high water with so much walkers in there. Yeah, they need the food, but that was so risky. The odds were against them that they would all come out whole.
I panicked. I told her I knew her when she was alive.
Yeah, Rick is so good at reading people.
Yeah, I get it. You know, when you tell your sins to God. Did you miss the sword?
It wasn't really mine in the first place. Found it in the very beginning.
How'd you get so good?
It's just me and them. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't life. Not like today. Don't lay around in 3 feet of slime for some people. That's living. I don't miss what was before. I don't miss that sword.
So Rick took an opportunity to ask Michonne a little bit more about herself. He asked her how she got so good with the sword. So he was looking for a way. I'm sure that has been on his mind for a long time. And them getting the supplies, you know, getting a break, a place to stay at the church to, as Michonne said, to breathe. Them being successful in getting the supplies out of the food bank. Rick dropped his guard. As I told you, Rick suppresses himself around Michonne. He has feelings for her, but has shut it down, shut himself off from that possibility because of Carl. He thought he was rejected, which he wasn't. He's not going to open him and Michonne up to the possibility of the awkwardness of unreciprocated feelings, because it would jeopardize what he's formed with her, the family he invited her into. Because if she doesn't have feelings for him and she knows that he has feelings for her, it would be awkward, because he intends for her to be with him, Carl and Judith, for the long haul. He wants her to be as comfortable as possible, so she never wants to leave them. As CSMTC Queen noted, when Rick and Michonne were sitting by the fire in the dark, he couldn't maintain eye contact with her, because if he did, his feelings may have revealed itself. So here we have them. He's happy. He's, you know, triumphant. He had a successful excursion. He's so giddy that his guard isn't up. He's so happy at its success. His guard isn't up. And what comes out of him? How did you get so good with your sword, Michonne? He wants to know more about her. He's thinking about her. He asked her if she misses a sword. So he noticed how connected she is to the sword. Remember when she went at the beginning of the episode to go kill the walker and she reached for the sword? Rick notices everything about Michonne. She's on his mind, and he's watching her. Even though he has so much going on and he has to keep his wits about him to keep everyone safe, he's also has his eyes on this stranger that they encountered. He's still watching Michonne and thinking about Michonne. There's also a tone to it of two people who recently met each other that are on a date, with one inquiring about the other. It's a getting to know you kind of interaction. I'm telling you, guys, if Michonne wasn't Michonne, if Michonne had the appearance of a Lori, Andrea, of Lily, the people who said they never saw Rick and Michonne coming, the people who ignore the blatant interest that Rick has in Michonne, they would be all over Rick and Michonne's interaction if Michonne had the appearance of those women that I listed before. The only reason that people have ignored what they're seeing with Rick and Michonne since the introduction of Michonne into the series is because, as I said, they have conditioned themselves to not viewing beautiful, sexy, eligible woman like Michonne as beautiful, sexy, and very appropriate potential partner for Rick. The only reason it's because they have disqualified Michonne because of how they perceive her. That's it. She is literally perfect for Rick, and the very qualities that Rick admires and actually displays admiring, they ignore that because they have compartmentalized Michonne in their minds as not appropriate. So they see her as just one thing and not what she is. They do not see the whole woman. They negate what they see because they do not want to see it. Some deliberately because they do not want to see it. It's an obvious no and a negative for them. But there are other people that do not want to see it because they have trained themselves not to see it. Media feeds stereotypes about certain people, and a lot of people mindlessly buy the propaganda. They have internalized it and they don't even know it. Even people you would expect not to negate Michonne, to see Michonne as invisible in terms of being a three-dimensional human being, a beautiful, sexy, eligible woman for Rick. They have internalized it and don't even know. And if you would ask them, they were like, oh no, yeah, we see Michonne. But in reacting to what they're seeing, Michonne on screen with Rick, Michonne becomes invisible in terms of the aspects of Michonne that are right in front of them. They can see her as a soldier because that's the only thing they want to see her as. They do not see her as what she is. A warrior, yes, but a beautiful, sexy, intelligent, perceptive woman who is a natural born leader that is perfect for Rick, but not only that, that Rick himself is intensely attracted to. They put an invisible veil over Michonne so that they can happily ignore what they're seeing. Michonne is always in a grouping with Rick. Rick reacts to Michonne differently than he reacts to other women, but yet it's a no-no. There's nothing there. They see nothing, they hear nothing. The people this was invisible to made it invisible. They deliberately, they intentionally made it. They have to go against what is right in front of them. They have to go against so many things, not just one layer, several layers. Part of his family, core family, his partner in raising his kids, his warrior partner, the woman he's always with and has the closest interpersonal relationship with. There's so much layers, so much relationship dimensions that people have to go against to negate Michonne as a potential partner for Rick. That tells you that it's intentional by the person who says Michonne and Rick were never forecasted or hinted at. Even worse, to say they're forced, because it happened out of nowhere. They don't say that about Maggie and Glenn. Glenn showed up as a stranger and Maggie just said, "You want to have sex?" No chasers, no preamble. That didn't come out of nowhere. All these dynamics with Rick and Michonne, subtle and unsubtle. Most of it wasn't subtle, but that came out of nowhere.
Doesn't mean Gabriel's a bad guy for sure, but it means something.
You'll burn for this.
I'd like to propose a toast.
Judith feeding her daddy and Michonne standing over Judith and Rick as they all happily feast on their food hall. Look who are together, hanging around each other when they don't have to be, but they gravitate towards each other. They're always around each other. I'm telling you, if Michonne had the appearance of the woman I mentioned before, everyone would be asking, when will Rick and Michonne get together? There would be no refrain of, where did this come from? And admittedly, a lot of people saw it because a lot of people are media literate and a lot of people are not actively trying to negate what is being shown on screen between Rick and Michonne. There are many people who got it. I'm just saying, for the ones who claim that this was forced and it came out of nowhere, I'm sharing with you that those people actively had to negate Michonne as a viable love interest. They had to make her invisible for their perception to stand.
I look around this room and I see survivors.
To the survivors.
And we get Eugene to Washington and he will make the dead die and the living will have this world again. And that is not a bad takeaway for a little road trip. Come with us. Save the world for that little one.
Nice little speech, Abraham.
She's in. If she's in, I'm in. We're in. Yeah.
Michonne is relieved that Rick is in.
I was at the prison with the governor.
Oh, Tara just blurted out she was at the prison with the governor. Maggie didn't know.
I didn't know who he was or what he could do. You're here with us now.
Oh, that was sweet of Maggie.
You're hiding something. And it's pretty obvious. It's something you can't hide from. And if what you're hiding somehow hurts them in any way, I'll kill you.
Oh, wow. Rick laid it all out there. What is Carol doing? She looked uncomfortable in the church, like she didn't want to be there.
What are you doing?
And I think that's what Daryl has been sensing.
I don't know.
They got back. Come on, get in.
Oh, Daryl had told Rick that he saw a car with a white cross on it that had taken Beth. So him seeing that, he's gonna want to pursue that. But he should tell the others. Rick suspects that there are people out there because Daryl told him that he heard people in the woods. He didn't see, but he sensed it. So Rick is going to believe that Carol and Daryl were snatched by them. And there's Bob standing out there looking in. There we go. There's that dude. So Tyrese didn't kill him. Oh my gosh. I know. I remembered seeing him again. There's Gareth.
Now we're out here like everybody else, trying to survive. And in order to do that, we have to hunt. Eating people. It evolved into that. We evolved.
There's the lady that was in at the food bank.
You taste much better than we thought you would.
It's so sadistic. They're doing their evil, but they're rubbing it in. Gareth is rubbing it in. He's so sadistic, evil. He's relishing in it. Like, look at him telling his victim, eating his victim in front of him, eating Bob's leg in front of him. He wants Bob to experience that horror. Again, I yapped on and on during the episode, so I don't have much to say other than don't forget to subscribe, like, and the full reaction will be on Patreon, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you guys. Bye.